welcome in to Gamers Perspective featuring Sudhin the Headmaster Dinesh. This is episode number 5 of PwnAcademy, wherein they are trying to make sure that everyone in India who's a passionate gamer gets to learn a lot about the game that they love. This is going to be around a lot of games, a lot of platforms. And before I get into PwnAcademy and the things that they're doing, let me just introduce to you the man which actually needs no introduction in the Indian FIFA community. Sudhin the Headmaster Dinesh, somebody who's won multiple national titles, someone who's won multiple major titles. He has also represented India at international events and has made India proud multiple times. So then if I keep on talking about your achievements, I think it will be a very long stream, which is why I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. First, how are you feeling today? And the second, how excited are you for FIFA 22?
First of all, Selvan, you were too kind with the introduction. And I am absolutely thrilled to be a part of this stream. You know, it has always been, ever since I've been a pro player for FIFA, I've always wanted to give back to the community, you know, for all the support that they've shown. So PwnAcademy has given me a platform to help others who are trying to go pro or at least trying to start playing this game, you know, to get better. And I hope you guys, you know, enjoy the show.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much. And what are your thoughts about FIFA 22?
Well, like every FIFA fan, you know, this September month is like one of the most anticipated months. You know, that's when the new game releases every year. And I can't wait, you know, when you play a game for an entire year, you know, you just want something new. And I'm sure we've all reached that point, and the game looks interesting. Hopefully, you know, it's really fun to play. Let's see. I can't judge anything right now, but you know, it happened. Let's see.
Well, yeah, I think that was Sudhin, the pro talking about it. Okay, it looks very like, you know, there are mixed views. He's hoping that the game favors him with regards to his play style. And I think, Sudhin, we're going to talk about, you know, the things that you just said with regards to, you know, for everyone who wants to play this game, for everyone who wants to start learning this game. And that is what PwnAcademy has been doing. This is actually for everyone, not just for people who are professionals. This is also for people who just started to play a game. This is also for people who want to start to play a game. This is for people who've been playing the game for a long time, but want to get better at it. And that is there, you know, this is what Gamers Perspective does. And it helps you to learn a lot more. It helps you to train with regards to how your favorite player would be playing. And it's not just for FIFA. It's for Counter-Strike. It's for Valorant. It's for Free Fire. It's for so many more games. So if you are somebody who's at this stage, you know, wherein you just want to start something, you are trying to get better at what you're doing, or even if you're a professional, make sure to check the form that is there in the description, or you can also type it out. And one of the members from PwnAcademy will reply to you with the form link. And so then I think coming back to FIFA, okay, because that's what we're going to discuss today. There are 3 platforms for anyone in India to play FIFA competitively, or maybe play it with friends. There's PlayStation 4, the most, the most known one. There's Xbox, and there's PC. Now, if I am somebody, okay, let's just say I'm somebody who watches football or who has seen people play FIFA and think, okay, that this is fun. What is the most basic thing that one should know, like, you know, before playing this game or before buying this game?
Well, you know, the most important criterion is having the knowledge of the game. If you want to, you know, play well, you know, FIFA being a football simulation game, you know, most of it is based on how the real game works. The passing, the shooting, the tactics, how you want the team to run around, how you want to defend. It all comes from the actual game. So if you have pretty good knowledge of the game, it will help you a lot. I mean, when you don't have any knowledge and you just start playing the game, it'll take time. The learning curve is longer. So yeah, and as far as the platform goes, it all depends on, you know, what you have, what you can afford. PC is fine, but if you want to, you know, play competitive FIFA, you have to have a console. You know, PS4 or Xbox. Obviously, PS4 or maybe right now PS5. That since it's come to the market, this is going to be the competitive platform for the Indian FIFA community. Xbox has not yet been a very regular feature here, so it's going to be the PlayStation. And also, PlayStation is important because, you know, it's not just for competitive. You know, when you have friends over, it's a console where you can just plug it onto your TV and have friends play multiplayer 1v1 or 2v2. So yeah, and you can't do that on the PC. It won't be as fun as, you know, playing it on a big screen, the PS4.
Right. I think you heard it from the man himself, the Headmaster, just telling you the most basic thing that you need to do is have knowledge about the game that you're going to play by actually knowing what this game is about. So if you want to play FIFA, Make sure to have basic football knowledge and the controls that come along with it. And obviously, if you want to play it competitively, you need a console. But this episode is not just for people who want to play competitively. This is also for everyone who wants to, upgrade their skills, and everyone who wants to start somewhere. Because as he said at the start, when he started playing, he always wanted to give back to the community after the level that he achieved. And there is a reason why he's here today with us. And there's a reason why he'll be training a lot of people who will be joining him, thanks to the form which will be given to you by PwnAcademy, which is in the description. But so then, okay, before I go ahead and ask you some more questions about professional FIFA, I think as somebody who does not play a lot of FIFA, okay, a person asks me a lot of questions like, what is the difference between different FIFA games that come every year? People feel it's the same thing. Like, what's the difference between 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and now 22? Because you were very excited for 22 with those mixed feelings. But a lot of people feel, what is the difference? Isn't it the same game? So I would just like to know from you, before I go your point of view with regards to how different the game is and how important it is to adapt to the new changes and forget the things that were there in the previous FIFAs if you want to get better at the game.
That's a very interesting question, Simon. It's like, just like you said, it's one of the most frequently asked questions to me as well from people who play the game casually. They want to know why they should invest in a new game, 4,000 to 5,000 rupees in a new game every year. Well, to the naked eye, it seems the game every year looks like the same game. I mean, it's after all a football simulation game. But there are these intricacies that happens every year. If you love the sport, you'll know like there's changes to the squad of each team, the new kids. And if you're a fan of football and you play with these new players, then they have better stats each year. When they get better in real life, their stats get updated in the game. So as a football fan, like I have to buy the game every year, because I see new kids, better teams, better players. So that's one of the main things. And obviously, when you have to compete, you have to have the latest version. You can't just play with the old version. The servers will be dead.
Right. And so then, a lot of people actually think that FIFA is only about scoring goals and not conceding goals. But then I do not think they know a lot about the things that are involved in between this. I'm not talking on midfield for everyone who's watching. I'm talking about hundreds of aspects that are there in this game, like, aspects like decision making, aspects like mentality, aspects like skill moves, aspects like, passing, crossing, shooting, and so many more things. And like, let's say I'm somebody who plays with my friends, I'm having fun playing with my friends, or maybe I play at office with my colleagues. Just a basic advice that you would like to give them, not to turn professional, but to just upgrade their game while playing with their friends or colleagues.
Well, FIFA for me personally, at least for me, it's like chess. Like in hindsight, obviously it's about scoring and not conceding, but the real battle lies in midfield. So how well you play depends on how well you control the center, because the midfield contributes to both attack and defense. They are the first shield in defense to protect the defenders, and they are the guys who build up for the attack. If you learn how to pass around with the midfield, to take control of the game, make sure you don't let the opponent attack, just keep passing and creating chances and trying to score. That's how you get better. Obviously, Rome wasn't built in a day. You just can't get this advice won't just help you, become a great player. You have to work hard, get it in your muscle memory. That's how it works.
Well, I think very well said, especially the point when you said Rome wasn't built in a day, because everything that you do, especially if you want to get better at something, you have to work for it, and you have to, give some time, do some research, and try to figure out where your weakness lies and then work on it, which is what Sudhin meant as well. And, talking about all these things, I think, we spoke about a lot of aspects which are actually very important when it comes to professional gaming or when it comes to competitive gaming. Now, you yourself has been you've represented India, which is something a lot of people dream about, and you've won multiple national tournaments. Let's be very honest, playing with friends and playing in a tournament which is at the highest level is pretty different. And I think we're going to analyze some things and let people know what PwnAcademy's gamers perspective brings for them, which is why I think we're going to talk about a game from the Indian football channel, which was played a few months back between Jenasid from India and Y2 Harthi from Saudi Arabia, which was for the eNations esports qualifiers from West Asia, of course, from Asia and South Africa, of course. And I think, Sudhin, you're going to be talking more about that game. And everyone who's watching right now and everyone who will be watching it later on, this is something that's going to be very important, because this is exactly how a pro player or a coach would analyze your game, would tell you about things to do, things not to do. And we'll also be talking about a lot more aspects of this game, like mentality, like pressure, like, tactics, like formations, and a lot more things. So then, would you like to start this game so that we can go ahead and talk about it?
Okay. Now, before I start the game, I just want to say the actual difference between casual FIFA and competitive FIFA. When you're playing casually, you can unleash, all your skills you've learned just for fun.
Right.
There's always room for make mistakes, and because there's no consequences. But when it comes to competitive gaming, you have to remember that the opponent is just as good as you, and he's not going to let you do whatever you want. And that makes a lot of difference. You have to make sure that you don't make mistakes at all. Control the game. Wait for that one chance to open up. And competitive FIFA is a completely different beast. And to become a pro player, you have to keep your composure throughout the 90 minutes of the game. Make sure you have the attitude to win, even if you're losing. Focus on building your game up forward, go forward, 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 try to score as given with your chances. And you know, Indian FIFA scene has been really competitive in the last year or two. And the game that we're going to show, it's not between two Indian players. This is international. This is the FIFA eNations League. This is between one of India's best players and versus one of Saudi Arabia's best players and probably one of the world's best players. Yeah, I believe he was ranked number one in West Asian region this year.
That's right.
And this match, before we start, my God, you guys are in for a treat. And I'm super excited to analyze this video. So yeah, let's go ahead with it.
Well, absolutely. I think let's go ahead and watch this game as it kicks off. So then I want you to keep talking when this game goes on, and whenever you feel like pausing, you can just pause and talk to the people about what things are right and what things are wrong. I mean, I would not say right or wrong, but I would say what things could be avoided instead of doing that. Having said that, just let us know the importance of not losing the ball from kickoff in this game.
As you can see, right from the kickoff, Waitu Harthi, that's the player's name from Saudi Arabia, and with the white, as soon as the game kicked off, you saw him trying to pull the ball from the back, try to build up slowly, and you can see Jenasid, just pressing him non-stop from the go. If you look at it, it's just like I said, it's about keeping your composure, waiting for the chances. From minute one, you can see Harthi being patient and Jenasid not giving space and winning the ball immediately. So that makes a lot of difference when it comes to competitive game. Having the composure to maintain the pressure on the opponent.
Well, absolutely. And I think when it comes to pressure, as we've already said, this is not just a casual game, or this is not just any competitive game, but what defense out there, I think we'll talk about it. But then the quality
as
and
you can see,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sagan. Yeah. This is how, this is defending 101. When the opponent is good, Harthi almost scored here, but Jenasid just predicted that he moved the right way. If he had taken even one wrong step, that would have been a goal.
Well, absolutely. And I think you can talk a little more about anticipation. In this case, I think when it comes to defense and attack, how important it is to anticipate what your opponent is going to do.
Yeah. So anticipation is everything. You've played the game for so long, and just sorry to pause what I'm saying. Let's just analyze this goal because that was beautiful. This is professional FIFA 101.
Yeah, so let's just get back and see this thing as you all can see on your screen. And I think Sudhin is going to talk more about what was the best part about this goal.
You see, when it comes to competitive gameplay, the key is, like I said before, it's about the midfield battle. So it's best if you try to keep the game as central as possible. And that's what Jenasid did in this case. He went wide, stretched the midfield, and then came back center, waited for Ronaldo to run, made the pass, and he used the most effective skill move in the game, the directional nutmeg, to beat the defender, to have a 1v1 with the keeper, and bang, goal.
Well, absolutely. Now that we've spoken about the goal and we've spoken about anticipation, I think, Sudhin, we have a lot of things to talk about, and it can be the case wherein we feel, oh, I just finished. I was about to finish talking about this thing and something else popped up. And that's how this game is. It's not just about scoring and conceding as we were discussing at the start. Now, before, I'm not sure when are these guys going to score another goal. But is there something that you would like to talk about how you should be mentally prepared after scoring the first goal in a competitive game?
Well, that's another. Now that you mentioned it, that's another key aspect to pro gameplay is game management. 1-0 is never a safe score. The opponent is especially when the opponent is just as good as you and can attack at any given point of time. So the key is to make sure you don't make any mistakes on this side. Obviously, no matter how good you are, and if the opponent is good, he is very likely to score. But you have to make sure that you don't make any mistakes from your side. You have to try to be the best player that you can be from your side. And whether he has the opponent has the talent to score or not, that we'll have to see in this game. But as far as you're concerned, you have to make sure that there's no room for error. Let's get back to the game.
Yeah, well, absolutely well said. And I'm sure everyone who's watching has made a note of it as well. And having said that, we are still at 1-0 and more than 80 in-game minutes still left to analyze, which Sudhin, the headmaster, Dinesh is going to do.
You can see how both players have been trying to pass the ball through the middle. Like I said, it's all about the midfield battle. You have to, try to open up space. You can only go wide. You can only do limited things when you're going wide to the wings. This is just to stretch the defense, do a couple of skills and come back to the center. But at the end of the day, my point rule: pass around the center, pass on the center, open up, stretch the defense, turn, shoot. It's as simple as that. And that's fantastic gameplay from Jenasid.
That is. And so then if you could just pause the video and, just explain to the viewers about the quality of the shot that was just being taken. It was a finesse shot, as we say in FIFA. And I think, as you always obviously know, there are a lot of ways to score in FIFA when it comes to a finesse shot, a chip shot, a low-driven shot. How important is it to realize which player is good at which type of shot and when to take which shot from which distance, from which angle? If you could just talk a little about that, because I think this goal was all about that finesse from the right angle, isn't it?
That was the best shot that he could have taken from that angle. The ball had to curve away from the keeper and then curve back into the goal. So this all comes from practice, and from the knowledge of the game. When you are in certain angles, you have to know what shot works best. When you're in when the keeper is close to you, you need to be able to chip the ball. When the keeper is when you're in a particular angle, you have no option but to smash the ball into the goal with the power shot. And in situations like this, in these, you have to hit the finish. But you have to curve the ball.
Well, absolutely. And I think you've explained it all pretty well. So let's, I think, move on and watch what more this game is going to bring in for us. Well, again, that was the second goal. And I'm pretty sure you all are very excited watching this, thinking, okay, that was the third goal. But no, this was the second goal once again with Cristiano Ronaldo with that beautiful finesse shot, which is very, very, very important in this game. And now, once again, Sudhin, you are 2-0 down, you are 2-0 up. What are your thoughts on the game in both situations?
If I were in Jenasid's position, I'd be very confident. 2-0 is I wouldn't say it's a safe scoreline yet, considering how FIFA works. 2-0, opponent can score any 2 goals at any given point in time. But it's obviously going to be safer than 1-0. So I'll be pretty happy if I were Jenasid. Opponent is under pressure now. He'll be forced to do things that he normally doesn't do. He'll try to rush his passes. And if I were Harty in this case, no, as much as I try to, play my usual game, I'll have to force things because the clock is ticking, and time is everything. And just like that, just exactly when I said that he's going to rush his passes and to try to find a goal immediately, and that's what he did. And that was a beautiful goal. This is rewinded. Look at him passing around. He forced Jenasid's midfield back into in his own box, and he just needed a couple of passes to finish it off.
Well, absolutely. And I think, Sudhin, that was also an example of patient build-up and at the same time, fast patient build-up, because he was making sure that Jenasid does not put him under a lot of pressure so that he can get a little bit of momentum back with that goal. And how important is it, when it comes to momentum, to not let your opponent get away with that momentum?
That was one of the reasons why that goal was very crucial for Harty is because when Jenasid scored the second goal, everyone would have assumed that he now has the momentum and he could have used the momentum to break Harpy down and score a couple more goals. But I have to stop again. But that was beautiful.
Well, absolutely. And I think, Sudhin, that was worthy of being stopped, isn't it? Because that goal was taken so well. While we were talking about momentum, I think you have to, take your time, make sure that it is paused once you see this goal again, and then keep talking about this goal for sure.
As you can see, like I said before, the key is to, be as central as possible. But when the opponent has as many players in the central areas as Harpy has, as you can see on your screens, you have to go wide, make pull out a couple of defenders, beat them, open up, and then try to go central again. And that's exactly what Jenasid did, as you can see here. He went wide, passed it to the nearest player, pulled the defenders out, and the Elastico skill, one of the most dangerous skills in the game. It has been for the past few years. Skill moves are very important when you want to become a pro player, because you can't just, especially against people as good as you can't just pass around, just try to score goals just passing around. You have to have the ability to beat defenders on the ball, and this is exactly what Jenasid did.
Well, absolutely. And I think, so then one more very important thing is decision making, isn't it? A lot of people can do skills. Very few can do the right skill at the right time. And what Jenasid did there was he actually made sure that Harthi went the wrong way because of that elastico. And that opened up a space from which he would 100% score. How important before they score another goal is decision making in this game?
Decision making is everything, no matter how good you are. It's just like in real life football. There are talented players who can do a lot of skills. If I have to name a few, I don't want to bad name them, but there are players like Vinicius Junior and Willian, maybe players who are very very good on the ball, but are very very bad in the decision making. Good players, of course. I have no one to judge them. They are in the highest level of the game. So, but nevertheless, decision making comes no matter how good you are. You have to have the ability to make the right moves. And as you guys saw in the previous goal, Jenasid made the right decision to do that exact skill. He could have if I have to be honest, there were two three skills that he could have used that would have worked as well. But that looked beautiful. Elastico is a really really beautiful skill, and that goal, I'm pretty sure Hathi would be deflated by now. 3-1 up, 3-1 down in 25 minutes. I'm pretty sure Jenasid will just control the game. With he's proven he's stamped his authority in this game, and that's exactly what pro players need to do. They obviously both players are equal. You have to show the opponent, put the fear in them that I'm going to be better. I'm going to be playing better than you in this game. That's exactly what he did.
Right. Well, absolutely. And I think, so then just before we go ahead and watch this thing, just to let the audience know, we are discussing this right now, with a lot of time. But then when these players are playing, everything is happening in that split second. The decisions have to be made, like, within a second when that player has the ball, because you take, like, I think, a second more and your defender has taken the ball away. And so then I think going on in this match, we are going to talk a lot more about, timing and that crucial split second clutch deciding factors as well. So let's just watch some more moments, and I'm sure we'll have some more things to talk about that.
Yeah, decision making doesn't just come with just good game IQ. It also comes with numerous hours of practice. It has to it has to be within you. It has to be a natural reflex.
Right.
When you get the ball, you need to be aware of where your plays are going to be, because you played this when you're a pro. Obviously, you played this game for multiple hours. You need to be able to understand where your plays are going to be when you're seeing the pass. You have to and that's at least that's how I feel. Whenever I get the ball, I'm aware of where I'm going to turn or who I'm going to pass to. Because when players are as good as you have to be one step ahead of them. So it's always key to like have that one step advantage, like always know where you're going, so that you can pass it one side and then pass it back the other way, and then stretch the defense out and then come back to your original spot. So it's just like chess. Move your pieces perfectly, make the right moves, and then you'll find the openings.
Perfectly said. And I think, so then just before you start this video, for all the viewers who are watching, for all the viewers who will be watching the show later on, just to let you know, this is something that a pro thinks, I mean, if you're a casual gamer, if you're somebody who just plays this game for fun, I'm sure you've never thought of this aspect before, wherein, you just play and you think, okay, I'm going to pass it to this player and then we'll see what happens. But a pro player has already planned what he wants to do next. I think that is one of the main things that, anyone will have to change if they want to play this game competitively, isn't it?
Absolutely. And now that we are getting back to the game, there's one more thing I wanted to say, that something Jenasid did that he also did in the previous time he defended was how he tried to, like I said, right, most every pro player will try to play from the center. And as you can see here, Jenasid tried his best to make the opponent not come to the center and go away from the box. So this is how you put pressure on your opponent. Make sure he doesn't turn to his favored side. And it's not going to be 100% all the time. There will be times when the opponent will break it down eventually, but these are the things that you need to learn. Make sure the opponent goes when the opponent is good. You have to make sure that they have to you make them go to the area where they are least likely going to threaten you.
Right. I think, I mean, let's be very honest. I would have not noticed that as well. But then it was not the opponent who tried to attack that way. It was Jenasid who forced him to choose a less favorable attack with regards to his players by not allowing him that space in the center. And I think that is something that was well pointed out by Sudhin. And if you are somebody who wants to improve defensively, I think that is one of the biggest tips that you can get from anyone. And here at PwnAcademy, you have Sudhin, the headmaster, Dinesh, who's not just analyzing this game, but who is going to be doing a lot more analysis for everyone who wishes to learn this game, who wishes to play this game competitively, or wishes to get better. And having said that, I think, Sudhin, we still have around 60 in-game minutes to talk about.
We do.
So let's go.
Yeah. And, as you said earlier about anticipation, here's a case that's going to play in the next couple of seconds where the opponent is actually, as you can see on the screen, the striker is thrown. He has a lot of space, and Jenasid pulls his switches to the right defender and runs backwards to intercept the ball, as you can see here.
Oh, well, absolutely. And I think, Sudhin, this is something a lot of people would not realize, but that player switching at the right time in the right areas is very, very crucial, isn't it? Because one wrong switch and your opponent is in on goal.
It is, especially with how the game is made. You can't rely on the computer. You can, if in case people are wondering how people, if you see the red icon on the player, that's the player that the pro players control, that Jenasid is controlling. The rest of the players are controlled by the AI. So in the recent games, the AI has been pretty poor. So it's absolutely crucial to make the right switches. Always keep moving around. Like I said, the entire game is like chess.
Right.
Just making the right moves, placing the right players in the right position. That's how it works. That's how pro FIFA works. And as you can see here, like he made the right switch. As you can see over here, he's just trying to make sure that he doesn't get any free space in the center. Just him immediately and won the ball.
Well, absolutely. I think he has just analyzed it perfectly. Sudhin has just said it perfectly, because had Sid not switched the right player at the right time, he would have not got this ball back. And that is a very crucial part when it comes to competitive FIFA, even when it comes to casual FIFA. And that was a great chance there. And I think if you would like to talk about it, please go ahead.
I do. See, again, it's all about, creating plays. Over here, he made sure that he had the right players. It's all about, like I said, it's all about skills. And you have the ability, like Jenasid has, it's going to be in his favor. And he did those skills over there. As you can see here, he used the through ball to get the fastest attacker forward. Waited here, as you can see, there's a player at the far post on the far post. And I personally thought that he would look for him, and looks like he made even the player think that he's going to pass to him, but he waited and passed it to the guy behind him.
Right.
So that's how you have to be aware of where your players are.
Exactly. And I think, as you said, this comes only with experience, with hours and hours of practice. And when you are in that scenario before, where okay, this is how it can be, like he did there with his defense.
Anticipation, like you said earlier, he predicted that move exactly where the ball is going to go, and He's won the ball that easily.
Well, absolutely. Let's be very honest. As a normal gamer or as somebody who's watching the stream live, as you would have also seen those super chats coming in, you all would have never expected all these things. But then when you look at it from Sudhin Dinesh's point of view, from the headmaster's point of view, from a pro gamer or a coach's point of view, you understand those little aspects that can make a huge difference in your game and even in anyone's game. As Sudhin said, it's about those probability things, isn't it? At times you think the probability of scoring from here is high, as the probability of him sliding and saving that goal was high. And so then this is halftime. We've already discussed so much. Let's be very honest. When we started this, I thought we would not have so much to discuss, but it just feels like we've not discussed anything because of the way this game has turned out to be.
That's how, when it comes to analyzing pro players, there's so many things that you can look at. It's not going to be an end-to-end game where, one person is going to attack one side and then it's immediately going to transfer, like how you see in most football games. Here, you have to, use the meta moves, play the waiting game, look for the opening. As you can see, like every single goal that Jenasid scored today in this game, it's been one where he had to be patient. He had to, go one side, come back to the side, go there, pull a defender, beat them with a skill, come back center, pass it forward, do a skill and shoot. So, that's a lot to take. When you're looking to learn, this is a very, very good game to learn from. There's a lot of things, not just by Jenasid. As you can see, Harpy is not a bad player himself. He's
Right.
one of the world's best. You can see him doing a lot of things as well. Unfortunately, in this first half, things didn't go exactly the way he planned to. Jenasid was, the better player in this first half, and there's still a lot of things you can watch in the second half as well. This is where Jenasid. If I were Jenasid, this is where the second half will be crucial because game management is key in this half. Now that he has goals in his bag and he has a free headspace, so that he has to learn to control the game. Wait for the opponent to as the time progresses, the opponent has to rush his passes to score, and this is where Jenasid will have to wait and hit them on the break.
Right. And I think so then you've already covered what I just wanted to say. But then when it comes to a game of FIFA, it's always of two halves, and even though you play with your friends or you play casually with someone or you play at a cafe or you play at the competitive stage, I think halftime is your actual time to regroup. You get that 30 seconds or 1 minute wherein you think to yourself, okay, the first half is done. This is what happened. And this is what is left in store. And you just spoke about, the tactics, the shift of, focus, the mentality that changes based on how it is with regards to the second half that will be played. And as you were saying, Harthi has not done a lot of things wrong here. It's just that Sid has been on top of his game, especially with regards to his anticipation in defense. And that's what separates, a casual player from a competitive player. So would you like to talk a little more about, going into the second half before we get into it and then we don't have anything? We fall short of words because of what they are doing. Would you like to talk about how important is having a plan B with regards to your tactics, with regards to your formation, with regards to, your instructions or something like that?
Plan B, you can never win the game with just plan A. I mean, you can win games, but I don't think you can win tournaments.
Right.
Not every game is going to go the way you want it to. It's always good to have a plan B. And I'm sure Harty will, try to do different things, to keep Sid guessing. That's basically how FIFA is going to work. A computer FIFA is going to work. You need to keep trying new things. You can't just rely on one particular strength of yours and expect it to go the way you want it to always. Plan B is absolutely crucial. So let's see whether it works for Happy this time.
Absolutely. Having said that, I think let's start the video again and go on to watch the second half. And just before it starts, I think they are going to also take some time to regroup. I think Sudhin is going to agree with me. Jenasid is not scoring easy goals. He's making it look easy because of his experience, because of his practice, and because of the things that we've been analyzing, as Sudhin has been saying, with regards to his anticipation, his mentality, his decision making, his skill moves, his finesse shots, or his time of shooting, or his split second decision making, isn't it? So then that's how easy he's made it look, despite of it not being so easy against one of the best players in the world.
He has made it look easy. You're right, sir. It's not been I'm just reminding the viewers it's not as easy as it seems. This comes from hours of practice. And I have to tell you, if you guys need to come to this level, you have to put in the work. You have to shed a lot of sweat. You know, you have to break this controller. You have to make sure you have to buy like 10 of these. You know, I can't remember how many controllers I've bought because I've spent how many hours I've put. So that's how it works. Like any other profession, like any other sports, you have to put in the hours. You have to become a veteran of the game to be that good. So yeah, let's see how it works.
Absolutely. So then I think very well said, and I think there's around 27 seconds, which I am sure they're going to take the entire time because they would not like to rush it through. I'm going to take this time to tell you all that in case you wish to learn FIFA or any game competitively, with regards to playing at the highest level or playing with your friends, even if you want to get better at it, Academy has a form that you can fill in order to learn these things, in order to learn the masterclass with the people like Sudhin Dinesh, the headmaster, of course, one of the best players in India from his days, one of the greatest of all time. Make sure to fill the form, or you can also let us know in the chat, and one member from Own Academy will get the form to you. And Sudhin, I think let's start with the second half for another roller coaster ride.
That's good.
This time it's Sid kicking us off, and you should talk about the kickoff, the kickoff advantage.
Yeah, it's something that's been in the game for a few years now. Some people say it's just a mental thing. Some people truly believe it's a genuine advantage from the game engine. But regardless of how it is, I believe that when you try to kick off, the defenders are going to be a bit passive, and that's when you strike. Kickoff is a very good time to score, just like a 45th minute or a 90th minute. But unfortunately here, Y2 won the ball immediately because he's desperate to score, and he's turning on the heat. But Jenasid, being the pro that he is, he just made sure that he didn't give any spaces in the center that Y2 Hathi was looking.
Well, perfectly analyzed out there. I think Sid did do his homework before playing this game and realized that Y2 Harthi is pretty, good when it comes to those center attacks, and which is why he has been pretty good in this game. Let's just talk about, when a second half kicks off, how does the mentality usually change when it comes to a game where you're 3-1 up or 3-1 down? How exactly do you go into the second half? Do you feel like, okay, it's a new start, or do you feel like my plan A has not worked, so I'm going to try and change everything, or how does it work for you?
Well, normally when you're a pro player, you have to believe that you only reach that level because your plan A was that good. So if I were him, I would be still trying my plan A for at least the 60th or 65th minute. No, that's the one gameplay that you've been trying to master all your life. At least for this 1 year. So if you have to truly believe in it in your plan A. Only if it still doesn't bear any fruits till the 65th or 70th minute, then you can try plan B. If at least that would be the case if I were playing instead of Hathi over there, if I was in this situation.
Well, I think, yeah, that's pretty well said. I think a lot of people would be thinking, that these are some things that are going for them as bouncers. Just to let you know, these are things that make a FIFA player complete. It makes a competitive FIFA player better at what they're doing. And that's what Sudhin has been trying to, give us insights on. I think since this is not a casual game, it is going to be pretty tough for Sudhin to analyze this with regards to this being like, a game with a lot of margins for errors, as we saw an error there. Sudhin, would you like to speak about that?
Yeah, I was just trying to rewind to show you guys. So as you can see here, this is how you defend counters. There was a lot of space opened up for Hathi over here, and this is how you run backwards for defending when you're defending for counters. You don't just drop back. You take the furthest player, run, try to close down the space as much as possible. He forced him to turn side and hit finesse, and he immediately switched to the next defender to block the shot. This is when you want to be as good as this, you have to have the ability to judge situations like this. You have to make him think that he has to go this way, and then close down the space over there.
I think well said, because all this is happening so quickly. It's a matter of what, seconds, and that's how you have to think and make sure your opponent thinks the way you are thinking as well. And once again, now they are doing those changes, which is a big part of the plan A, plan B thing, the tactics that we were talking about, and the momentum that we were talking about. Can you explain to us the importance of changing, the tactics or the formation at the right time?
Tactics is absolutely crucial. That it defines the way you want to play. I'm not going to say that one tactic is like one set of tactics is better than the other. There's a lot of ways one can play. They can play a balanced game style, can play a proper drop back passive game style and hit on the break. That's also the press after possession loss where the team presses immediately when you lose the ball, press high, and then try to score as quickly as possible. It all depends on what you want to play. But at the end of the day, you have to master that. I personally would prefer the balanced style because I don't want my players running around on their own.
Right.
I want to control them, and I don't want them to sit deep like drop back as well. So I personally think that's the best tactics. And if anyone wants to improve, they have to start practicing on balanced.
Right. But I think, so then, as you said, it also depends on the player with regards to how they like to play this game.
Of course.
And I think at PwnAcademy, with the coaches like you and with the FIFA experts like you, they always have a chance to learn different things. It's not just about one tactic or about one formation. It's about multiple aspects of this game that they can learn, isn't it?
Of course. In the masterclass that I'm preparing for FIFA 22, you will see a detailed explanation of how each tactic works. So that way, when someone wants to learn how to play, and it's not just for one set of people, it's for both. It's two separate. It's like it helps both the people who are trying to start playing the game, and it's also for people who want to get better, who wants to compete at the competitive level. So this will help both set of people. A detailed analysis of how to attack with different game styles and how to defend the same.
Well, that's amazing. And I think that's one of the best things about the masterclass with the Headmaster and with PwnAcademy, that you not just learning to be the highest professional player, we were actually going to improve with every step, because with coaches like Sudhin, they're going to make it very easy for you with every aspect of this game. And do not necessarily have to be a professional. You do not necessarily have to be a beginner. You can be anyone and can make the most of it. And if you are looking for the same, there is a form in the description. There is a form in the chat. Go ahead, fill it up. And I think, Sudhin, we'll continue with this match because there's still so much to talk about.
There is. Let's just get on with it now.
Let's go. Of course, right now we can see a pause cue. Yeah.
Before this set piece happens, this is where like you asked me earlier about Plan B, right?
Right.
So when you can't, beat a player by playing around through the ground, you have to find ways to different ways to score. And I personally believe set pieces are a very interesting way to score, especially when you have the right players for it.
Right.
Well, like I'm sorry, I didn't say this before, but I have to say it now. Three very important things become a very good FIFA player. It's one is and one of the key points of it is having a good squad, having the right squad.
Okay.
Competitive FIFA being in the ultimate team mode, you get to pick your players that you want to play with, and as you if you go through any stream, any competitive FIFA stream, you will see that there's a bunch of players that are there, always there in everyone's team. Like players like Cristiano Ronaldo, like the R9, Ruud Gullit, and defenders like Ferdinand or Sergio Ramos with his team of the year card.
Right.
These it's because it gives the players not a variety of things to do. FIFA, you can't rely on. It's a game where you can't rely on players who are just tall and built, like
Right.
strikers who are just tall and built and who turn slow. It doesn't work in FIFA like it works in real life. So players tend to use the players that are as agile as they can be. But players like Cristiano Ronaldo, he's a real plan B. He's not just agile. He's not just he also has the height. So you have the option to cross the ball in and hope that he can cover past the defenders and score.
Right.
So, this is one very important thing that people who want to learn the game should know. Having the right players.
Perfectly said. And I think so then, it's not just, you are just right now speaking about FIFA Ultimate Team. The ones, if you are new, if you're wondering what is FIFA Ultimate Team, it's actually a game mode, which is the competitive game mode right now when it comes to FIFA, wherein you can build your own squad by choosing the best players that are available in the game. There are also legends of this game which are available. And as Sudhin was saying, set pieces are very important, and that can be your plan B. Because just like in real life, you can score a lot of goal from set pieces if you practice them well and if you execute them well. And I think that's the point that Sudhin wanted to make. And I think we can go ahead and watch what Harthi does with this set piece.
Well, you can see that he wasn't accurate with his cross. So, but you have to see, like, when set pieces are as dangerous as an option that set pieces are, you can't obviously rely on them to be 100% accurate. There will be times when obviously the defenders will defend it sometimes.
Correct. And I think, so then, as you were saying, it's also about artificial intelligence. It is also about player movement. And obviously, it also comes down to pressure, because a lot of great players also, break down under that pressure. And I think that's what has happened with Harthi as well, especially because he's known for those corners.
He absolutely is known for corners. We've seen it in previous games. And unfortunately, for him, Jenasid was prepared for him. As not just in corners, even the passes, he forced him to go wide again to nullify the threat of his from the center.
Right. And that is some great defending again. A lot of people would panic when a player of Harthi's caliber is inside the box or is in, the final third. But Sid has been like pretty much trusting his defense, trusting his defensive skills. And look at him, he's just using the basics, not doing anything out of the box, not doing anything different. And how important is it, to understand and know your basics, right, in this game?
No matter what you do in life, you have to brush up the basics. Because without that, it's just just an outer shell of fancy things. Basics are key, and Jenasid in this case has truly mastered the art of the basic FIFA gameplay. Make sure that your defenders are in the right position. Make sure you're passing in the right spots. Make sure you're turning in the right angles. So these are the things that are very key. In general, I'm sorry to pause it here. In general, players, they panic in situations and try to rush passes, try to sprint as much as possible, and just beat the players with the sprint. But intelligent players won't let you do that. And intelligence comes from hours of playing the game and expecting every single thing that's going to happen because they've seen it multiple times across when they've been practicing. So these are the times when you have to rely on your basics. Make sure you don't make mistakes and just make the right moves.
Well, absolutely. And I think, so then, just before we go ahead and watch this video again, a lot of people who play FIFA with their friends, they just think, okay, it's just about scoring. This is just about making sure we don't concede. And they just try to attack and attack and attack. And they must be looking at this video and thinking, why is this guy forcing it wide? Why is this guy not taking a shot? Why is this guy not trying to pass it in front when he has an opportunity? Why is he back passing? Just before we go into this, can you just explain to them with regards to how important it is to force your game on your opponent? Because that is what is happening. That's what Jenasid is doing. But I'm not sure if a casual player will understand that from watching this game.
Like I said before the match started, right? It's like a casual game and a competitive game are two completely different things. Like I said, casual gameplay, you can just do you can just do what's in front of you. You see a pass, you just pass it. You see someone running, lob it to him. You see an open space, try to shoot. But in competitive, it doesn't work that way. You have to accept the fact that the opponent could be just as good as you. So you have to make those back passes because the forward passes that you think are through, the opponent will be expecting it, will be ready for it. So these are the times where take that extra pass, go backwards, make that one extra pass is what will going to help you score in tough games. Because it doesn't matter how whether you score with one pass or whether you make it with 5 passes. The point is you get to score. And if in times like this when there are two players who are that good, you have to play the waiting game. Make sure that you find the perfect time to score because if you don't find the time to score, the opponent is going to take the ball and score on his chance. because he's going to do the same thing. He's going to wait, make the pass. So you have to be ready in both attack and defense. You have to be patient while attacking. At the same time, if you lose the ball, you have to be ready to, watch your opponent do something. You have to be ready for everything.
Well, absolutely. I think well said. And there are so many aspects that you have to think about if you are going to get better at this game, if you wish to get better at this game, which is what is something that you can get in the masterclass that the Headmaster is going to prepare for you in FIFA 22, thanks to PwnAcademy. And I think, Sudhin, we still have around 20 in-game minutes left and a lot more aspects to discuss for sure.
We do.
Yes, Jenasid who's trying to attack. Obviously, he's 3-1 up. And he's thinking he's in control of this game because he looked pretty confident, right? Like, and I think when it comes to confidence, the way you defend shows how confident you are, isn't it?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. He knows that he has the advantage right now, and he's trying to force his game onto his opponent.
Correct. And I think Sid is somebody who's thinking, okay, maybe I have the momentum and I have to make the most of it. And in general, in FIFA, before I think there's going to be a chance and you would like to talk about it because Sid has defended that once again pretty well. Your thoughts on that?
This is another thing that I would discuss. If you look here, it's basically a 3v3 situation almost. So how you defend this is you first take one of the backline and then go backwards as far as possible to make sure that opponent doesn't have space to run forward. And what he's done here is he made the opponent go back, and then he's controlled the midfielder, brought him close, and won the ball. So this is how you win midfield battles. You have to the midfield, like I said earlier, the midfield is the most crucial component when it comes to competitive FIFA. They help in attack and in defense. So this is how you defend like I said earlier.
Well, very well analyzed, because I'll be very honest with you, Sudhin, I would have not realized it until you pointed that out with regards to the midfielder switch. And these are a few of the things that are some things casual gamers can miss. These are some things even professional gamers can miss. And this is something that the Headmaster will not miss, and which is why he is the one who's in charge of the masterclass. And which, as we can see, we've analyzed a lot of things. And this is just a part of the analysis, isn't it, Sudhin? Because if we have to actually sit and analyze this game, sit and analyze different things that we can do, as you will be doing in the masterclass.
There's a lot of things that I could have discussed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be like so many things to discuss, because I've just realized it, that you and me can talk about this for hours and hours. And I think a player who wants to benefit from this masterclass is actually in for a treat, because he's going to understand this game better. And no matter what his ambitions are with regards to this game, he is for sure going to be closer to his ambition, to his dream after this masterclass for sure.
And it's, as you can see, the time, it's already 79. There's literally a little over 10 minutes left. And if I were Jenasid, I will have to know if any of you, the viewers, are in Jenasid's spot right now. You will have to know that you're in the lead, and the opponent is going to press you as much as possible and try to win the ball and attack as fast as possible. So this is where game management is really key. You don't need to score a goal. I mean, obviously, it'll be nice if the scoreline is bigger, but you absolutely do not need to score unless you actually have that much space. So just in FIFA, anything happens. One mistake and bam, opponent scores. So you have to be, and it's just a 2-goal lead. Opponent just needs a couple more minutes to score the next one. So this is the last 10 minutes is very, very crucial if you're a pro player, and when you have a lead.
Well, I think very well said, Sudhin. And I would like to just talk about this with regards to, if you are not a professional player who's watching, you must be thinking, wait, why are these guys, stressing so much on time management or something like that? But let's be honest, even if you're a casual player, when you play with your friend, there is always that threat, you are 3-1 up with 10 minutes left. You think, okay, we've won it. But then you concede a goal and you feel, okay, maybe I may concede another. And that's what we're talking about. Time management.
You wouldn't want to concede 2 goals from a 2-goal advantage to your friend. So you would absolutely hate it. Absolutely. I've hated it when I played it with my friends.
Same. Well, I just realized it as well. Yeah, because I realized it as well, thinking, when we were discussing about all these things, I'm not going to lie, a lot of memories flashed back, with regards to when we used to think. I'm sure, Sudhin, you've been in that situation as well, where FIFA for us was about just attacking and not conceding. And we never realized these are so many things that are involved in order to get better at this game. And thanks to this masterclass, I think a lot of people are going to benefit from it.
Absolutely. Obviously, we've all been casual players before we turn pro. So I know how it works. I've also been in those shoes. Before I started learning the intricacies, started learning how these minute details in the game that can help people, players get better.
Right.
I've tried to use it I use it for myself, and I know this works. So hopefully this works for you guys too.
Absolutely. Having said that, I think we've started with the stream again, and there is a corner, and Susan has spoken so much about set pieces, and I'm pretty sure you're going to talk a lot more about this after what happens here.
Yeah, you just said everything that needs to be said right there, Selvin. Like I said, you need to have the right players in your squad. There's no way Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best players in the game, is going to lose that header. And it's always nice when you have players that can do that can help you do multiple things and not just play on the ground. There will be times when you're forced to go in the air, and that's something that Jenasid took to his advantage.
Absolutely well said. And I think when it comes to set pieces, especially, so then it's always nice to score from set pieces because it's always half a chance. And it's not guaranteed that you're going to score. It's not like a one-on-one with no keeper in front of you or something like that. Because a corner is always going to be like a 50-50 thing. And that's how important it is to have the right players. And having said that, I think we would like to look back at how Jenasid defended that thing.
Really, I just rewinded to that spot. This is a thing of beauty. Like I said, you have to be able to anticipate. As you can see here, he forced him to turn around and go the alternate route instead of making the forward pass over here. As you can see right here, he made him turn around. But still, Harthi being the really good player that he is, he did find a way to pass it. But Jenasid was equally good over there, and you have to be able to anticipate and be aggressive at the same time to win balls like this. Because if you're not quick enough over there, the opponent is going to get the ball every time. But here he was quick enough to move the player and put the ball. So this is what you guys need to do. Be absolutely confident of moving your players. Obviously, it's not going to work out immediately. This comes with practice. And how's this showboating?
Oh, absolutely. And I think Sudhin, if you could just go back once, yeah. If you could just go back once, sorry. If you could just go back to the chance that we had with Harthi, okay? Just go back to that chance once here. That's it. Okay, now here, pause it up. So this is the place, okay, where Sid, okay, I'm just going to tell you all because this is something that I know personally. Now, so then a lot of people are going to expect the pass being made directly to Pele out there with the through ball. And I think, like, a lot of people who play this game would have gone for that pass to Pele directly, like, right in the center.
Yeah.
But Harthi is one player who usually passes it backwards and then goes for the final ball, which is what Sid already knew. Because when we spoke about this game, he always expected Harthi to do this. And this is one of the most key things, isn't it? Because when you have studied your opponent so much, and when he does the same thing that you anticipated, how good is that moment?
It feels like you're the king, and that's why reading the game is absolutely crucial. This is why at the beginning of this stream I said, the one of the most important things you need to have is the game knowledge. Because this is just like in real life football. This is like making your opponent play the way you want them to play. So he knew that he's going to do that, and he just waited for it. He gave him the time to do it. He gave the opponent the time to do it, and he made him do it, and then he won the ball. So at the end of the day, when that move, it worked out, it feels good. Obviously, when it doesn't, you'll feel like trash. But
yeah,
when it works,
when it works.
It's a thing of beauty.
Absolutely. And I think, because that's the reason Harthi would have thought, okay, you know what? Jenasid is going to be defending Pele in the center. I'm going to pass it back and then release Pele in the center with nobody out there to mark him. But unfortunately for him, Sid was very well prepared and his game plan actually worked.
We've been talking about how well Sid defended, but you also have to praise Harthi, because this is something that, casual gamers need to learn themselves. You have to not always, the forward option is not always the best option. In this case, you could see Harthi, taking this extra side pass so that he can pass forward. and that was the best option. Unfortunately, they read it like a book.
Well, absolutely. And I think now we can go ahead and talk about Sid showboating and his confidence, which is at its peak.
The whole skill thing that he did over here, that he's going to do here right now. Guys, if you're a pro player, I wouldn't recommend it, because you will be punished if the opponent is really good. But if you are going to play with your friends, the feeling that you get from beating your opponent with skills, and so you have to learn skills, obviously. And this is something that casual gamers don't know about keeper movement.
Right.
If you see here, you can see Sid charging the keeper and then moving him a little to the right. Did you notice that, Salman?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did notice that, and I was about to tell you that a lot of casual gamers would be only getting the keeper in front, but they would not know about moving him left or right. And you just rightly pointed out, and it would be great if you could give us a little more insights on keeper movement, the importance, how crucial it can be, and all.
Keeper movement is absolutely crucial. You can't move your keeper like around just like any you can do with any other player, but these little movements here and there, it's absolutely crucial. Like you saw over here. Obviously, even if he had scored, the game was almost done and dusted. But even then, he didn't want to concede one more.
Right. And I think there is another example of Sid thinking that he's playing with a friend, trying to humiliate him by doing that skill move and then getting the ball, trying to score because he knows the game is done and dusted. But credits to him, what he did there, he knew Harthi is going to go for the power shot and not for the near post, which is why he moved it a little to the keeper's left and actually got the save.
Yeah, that was a good move in the end. He could have done better, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. He tried to, get the flashy goal in the end, and it didn't work out for him. But nevertheless, he had a really good game. So this is how you play FIFA at the highest level. This is not just two friends playing at home. This is two of the top players in the world. One from India, one from Saudi Arabia. And if you aspire to reach this level, you have to follow protocols. Learn uh, these minute things in the game that that needs to be done. And I personally believe my master class will help achieve that.
Well, absolutely. I think, Sudhin, we've discussed a lot of things. The game has finally come to an end. I mean, it was around 17, 18 minutes, but we took around 50 minutes to analyze it. And let's be very honest, we could have taken maybe 1 hour more to analyze it because that's how it works when it comes to any game for that matter. It looks pretty easy because the pros make it look easy. But if you are somebody who's a casual gamer, if you're somebody who's very new to this game, who plays well, and if you want to improve, take it to the next step. There is a form in the description. There is a form in the chat. Go and fill it on PwnAcademy and make sure to follow them on social media as well because Sudhin, the headmaster, Dinesh, has made a masterclass for you for FIFA 22, which is going to release later this month. And believe me, there is nothing better than the insights that the headmaster himself gives. Once again, if you do not know who he is, he's won multiple national tournaments, he's won multiple major tournaments. He has not paid me to say this, but he has also gone internationally to represent India and has made a name for India in the Indian FIFA scene and in the global FIFA scene when he was in his prime. And here he is today with PwnAcademy, with this masterclass. We've learned a lot of things. Okay, so then just before I hand it over to you, I'm just going to talk about the things that we've just discussed during this game. We had a lot of discussions about mentality, about anticipation, about putting the pressure on your opponent, about having the right decisions, having the right squad, making the most of set pieces, goalkeeper movements, types of shots, passing the ball around, through balls. And I think it's going to take around 1 more hour for me to just summarize what we've done in this game. So I would like to know a message from you with regards to everyone who wants to improve at this game. You've already said what they can expect from the masterclass, but what would be your message for them if they want to get better at this game and if they want to step it up? I think that's the word I can use.
I mean, you're right. FIFA being one of the most popular games, you can see everyone playing it. So what I intend to do is I'm planning. I want to help both the casual gamer and people who are aspiring to go pro. So hopefully, my analysis of the videos that will be available for you guys in PwnAcademy, it'll help you, go the next level. If you're a casual gamer, It will help you, the entire detailing of each aspect of the game, be it attack or defense, or custom tactics, or gameplay analysis. It will help you. If you're not going to go pro, it'll help you demolish your friends for sure.
Absolutely, and I think there's no better feeling than that.
Absolutely, it's better than winning a competitive tournament, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if you're an aspiring FIFA player looking to go pro, looking to compete at the highest level, I'm pretty sure all these the videos that I'm going to put up for you guys will be absolutely helpful. I'm somewhere who's been there in that level, and uh, you know I've I've been in the situation where I felt like I could have used a bit of help, while I was trying to turn pro. And this is something that I want to do for people in the community who are aspiring, because at the end of the day, we are looking for our country's name to go up, and hopefully this is one way.
Well, absolutely. And I think, Sudhin, you've covered a lot of things very rightly. And I'll be very honest with you. I'm also a veteran gamer. You are a veteran gamer. I think one thing that we as a country lack is the right coaching, is the right, the right insights of any game, is the right masterclass, is something that we lack. And that's the reason there are a lot of countries who are doing so well with gaming, because for them, gaming is not just playing a game. It is analyzing, it is researching, it is putting in hours and hours trying to just see where you go right, where you go wrong. And that's something that we are trying to do here. And with you, I think it is certainly possible that as a nation, the Indian FIFA players can make India proud on the global, on the global scene. I mean, we're doing pretty well already. And I'm sure we can actually raise it up by getting more and more and more players into that global scene.
You're absolutely right. And it's not just players, uh, from in all my years of experience, one, like you said, Indian esports scene was, is just slowly developing, and as good as the players are, they need the right people to push them in times like this. And that's why I feel like, you know you can play, but you can play a game for hours on end, and when you play a tournament you might lose, and it'll be some due to some minute aspect of the game. And hopefully this is why I personally believe this gamers class will help, because it's going to this master class will help, because it's going to cover these minute things, that these intricacies where you might miss when you're playing, and hopefully it elevates your game and helps you compete. It's going to be a virtual coach, and coaches are important, and you just have to remember all these things, and it will definitely help you.
Well, absolutely. And I think, you spoke about this game being like a game of chess wherein you have to understand what it is. So I think I'm just going to put it into I'm going to give it two directions right now. When you play with your friends, it's more like solving a Rubik's Cube. You can make wrong moves and then hope that you can get the right one out. But when you play it competitively, it is not like a Rubik's Cube. It is like chess, because you have to make the right move always, because one wrong move can actually cost you a goal in the game of FIFA, and that can actually cost you the game, the tournament, and your place of representing your country somewhere else. But then some great analysis there, Sudhin, and I'm sure there's a lot more in store for everyone who wants to learn from you with regards to this masterclass with you and with the eNations. Once again, in case you haven't filled up the form, you are interested in learning FIFA, playing it better, or being a pro, being better at what you're doing right now, go ahead and fill it up. The form is there in the description. The form is there in the chat. I'm here with Sudhin, who is very much excited about designing this masterclass. And so then, any of your favorite words or any motivational words that you would like to give to all the players out there who are watching this right now?
All I'm going to say is, if you truly believe that you have what it takes and you have the passion to, it's not an easy road. It's not a bed of roses. There are thorns on the way. There will be thorns on the way. So if you absolutely have the passion and the determination to see this through, then go for it. Go for your passion, try your best, and hopefully it'll all work out. And now that I said that, I also like to thank PwnAcademy, for providing a platform for analysts like me to help budding players, improve their game. So I'm sure this will go a long way to help the Indian esports scene.
Well, I am absolutely sure too, with people like you in here. And just to let you know, it's not just about FIFA. There are many different games that are involved. It's FIFA, there's Counter-Strike, there's Valorant, there's Free Fire. There are a lot of games. You can follow eNations on social media. You can subscribe to the channel as well, because Gamers Perspective is going to be something which will be continuous. This is episode 5 featuring the Headmaster. There'll be many more episodes for FIFA and for other games. And I think I'm just going to summarize a lot of things that were discussed today for beginners with regards to playing FIFA for the first time, understanding the basics for casual players, the difference between every FIFA, and the different aspects that we cover during the game, including shooting, midfield, defense, anticipation, decision-making, skill moves, and a lot more things. And so then I think one last time, I would like to thank you for giving us your time today and for analyzing the game in the best possible way, and for creating the masterclass, which is going to come out pretty soon on PwnAcademy. Any last words before we end the stream from you?
I'm just going to say thank you, Selvin. Like always, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, analyzing the game with you. And thank you to the viewers who are watching. Hopefully, you are interested in, after seeing my analysis, hopefully you're interested in the game, in the masterclass, and I hope to see you guys in the future.
Well, I am pretty sure they would be interested, and I am pretty sure they're going to improve once they are going to view what you've done in that masterclass. Having said that, I think that is going to bring us to the end of our episode 5 of Gamers Perspective with Sudhin, the Headmaster Dinesh for PwnAcademy. Thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in, for all your questions. Thank you, for everything that you've done out here today. Make sure to let your friends know about this as well, the ones who play FIFA at any level, or if there's any football enthusiasts that you know who would like to play FIFA, let them know about this. If you have any gaming friends, any game they may play, let them know about the Masterclass series, because you never know, there must be something for them as well. My name is Selvin. With me was Sudhin, the Headmaster Dinesh, and we will both see you soon, very soon. Take care.